What is going on, everyone? Darkside Phil here, and welcome to another edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series, where you can find maximum truth and minimum bullshit. I cut through all the nonsense, and I give you my honest opinions on the newest retail releases that I've played. And in this episode, we're actually going to talk about a game that, at first, I'll be completely honest with everyone, I didn't have any intention of playing, alright? This is a series of games that's been around ever since, this generation of consoles launched. And primarily it's been a series of, oh, that's cute, oh, that's really cool, that's a game for kids, that's a game that, you have your son play and kill some time, or you have your daughter play because it has a cool cast of characters that they like, but it's not a serious game for the hardcore gamer. It was more like for casual audiences. And this installment of this series of games decided to completely flip that on its head, to try to become a lot more serious, to add elements to it that had never been in it before, and to also create a completely open world aspect that would add replayability to the game. So the game that I'm going to talk about is Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes, and we actually played it on the PlayStation 3 when John Rambo and I did our co-op playthrough, okay? So Lego Batman 2, for the very first time, adds voice acting to a Lego video game. Now, for those of you not familiar with the Lego franchise, I don't know how you don't know what they are. Legos are building blocks that you use to build things. And it's a toy for kids. They build models, they build things. And over the years, Lego's pretty much been branded by every single thing you can think of under the sun. More recently, they found success in the video game world, basically recreating some of your favorite characters and stories with Lego characters and Lego blocks. And it's been kind of a cool kiddie thing. You run around and you collect certain Legos and you find certain hidden Legos and you use Legos to build stuff on the fly. And it was a lot of platforming, some action. I actually had played one or two other Lego games before, Lego Star Wars and Lego Indiana Jones. I didn't really like them. I thought these are games, again, time-wasting games for kids, just to keep a kid occupied. And so he's not jumping and bouncing off the walls. The kid's sitting there on the couch playing something, and the parents can go do something else. It's pretty much what it felt like to me. Sure, they have licenses. It's cool to see, oh, it's Indy with his whip, and it's Star Wars. Look, there's Yoda and whatever. But it's not, again, no voice acting. A lot of the times it was just they would take music and characters from the series and throw them into doing stuff, recreating scenes from movies and such. But it wasn't anything that was like groundbreaking or was going to blow you away. It was a cute little thing, again, just to kill some time. Well, Lego Batman 2 tries to completely change that. Voice acting, an open world atmosphere, full co-op gameplay that actually is enhanced through the co-op. An insane amount of characters, vehicles, collectibles. There's a lot of really cool stuff about this game that I like to talk about. So, just to start, okay, when you first start playing Lego Batman 2, you immediately notice something different from the other Lego games. High production values. There's a story. They've actually contracted some voice actors that are well known, such as the voice actor who does the voice of Lex Luthor during the Superman and the Justice League cartoon series from the 90s and the 2000s. He's in this playing Lex Luthor, which is really neat. And even though they didn't get many other notable voice actors, I think Nolan North and Steve Blum did actually do voices, but they weren't like noticeable. Oh, that's them, This voice acting is still pretty damn good. This plot of Lego Batman 2 is pretty interesting. Lex Luthor's running for president, and during that period of time, the Joker escapes from jail, or Arkham Asylum, and they decide to team up in a plot to get Luthor elected president, while obviously the Joker wreaks havoc throughout Gotham City at the same time. Well, since you've got such a unique team up of villains, and because actually everyone breaks out of Arkham Asylum, all the Arkham villains, later on in the game, other characters besides just Batman and Robin, such as Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Cyborg, I'm sure there's a couple more I'm forgetting, but they all get involved, and really is a really cool plot that you wouldn't expect. It's a unique plot, first of all. It's not just following the plot of some movie or anything like that, and it's not something you would expect from a Lego game. In addition, they actually went ahead and took the initiative to add some really cool touches, some inside jokes regarding some of these DC characters, Superman comes off as more of like a cocky prick than anything else in this game, which is funny because in the DC universe, a lot of people see Superman as that because he is one of the most, if not the most powerful character in the DC universe, and he thinks he's like Mr. America, you know what I mean? But also, they actually licensed the Danny Elfman and John Williams music. The Danny Elfman Batman theme from the 2 Tim Burton Batman movies is in this game, and also the John Williams Superman theme from several Superman movies, you know, the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. So immediately as you start playing the game, you're like, wow, you know, if you're from that era, obviously, and you were a fan of those movies and you watched those movies when they were new, you immediately recognize this music and you feel this nostalgic feeling about Batman. And then, of course, when Superman shows up and they start playing the John Williams music, it's the same thing. So what they're really trying to do with this game is appeal to multiple audiences. They realize that probably the Lego series is a series of games that kids play with their parents, especially because there's co-op. So they're like, well, the parents will appreciate this, you know, having the original music, having all this inside jokes and humor regarding DC characters. The kids will love the gameplay. And yeah, that being said, the gameplay is pretty cool. Now, essentially what Lego Batman 2 is, it's the story of Batman and Robin trying to thwart the intentions of the Joker and Lex Luthor, and of course stop all the Arkham Asylum villains that have escaped. And you're going to go to several different locales throughout this open world Lego Gotham City, including Arkham Asylum, including Ace Chemicals, you know, all these notable places that you've been before, and then some really new places too, like Lex Luthor's airship. So some really cool stuff going on in the plot of the game. As I said later on, you don't just play as Batman and Robin. Some other characters will unlock during the course of the story mode of this game, including Superman. And these characters, even though some of them, like Superman, can be like invincible, meaning they can't really die, they're a critical part of the game. If you're playing the game by yourself without a co-op partner, you can switch between either Batman and Robin on the fly, and then later on when other characters join your party, you can switch between them on the fly as well. And essentially you're going to need to do this a lot because the game is a combination of combat, platforming, and puzzle solving. So what's going to happen is during the course of the game you're going to be breaking Lego blocks a hell of a lot, collecting Lego blocks, looking for secret hidden Lego blocks that you need to solve puzzles to actually find. In addition to that, you're going to be uncovering these pads that either have the Batman or Robin symbol on them. And once you build these pads out of Lego blocks, you will unlock what are called costumes or suits for either Batman and Robin. What these do is they give Batman and Robin unique abilities that normally these characters wouldn't have. So for example, Batman can turn invisible and avoid security cameras. Robin can use an ice gun to freeze things or freeze water and create platforms. Things like that. Batman has an electric suit, so now he's electric proof. He doesn't get electrocuted, but he can also use it to use electricity to activate certain machines and things like that. And so the primary gameplay of the game is you're going to go to these locations, you're going to try to destroy enough Lego blocks to build up these platforms, create the suits for Batman and Robin, have them use those unique suits to get through the puzzles of the stage and get to the end of the stage. Usually there's some kind of a boss fight against certain classic Batman villains, sometimes the Joker, sometimes Lex Luthor, etc. So it's really interesting, and over the course of the game, you feel like you're really playing through a unique DC Comics story. Is it really dark and brooding like some of the Batman, like the Chris Nolan Batman or the Tim Burton Batman? No, it's not. It's more of tongue-in-cheek humor, understanding who these characters are, what they've done over the years, and really trying to make it as appealing to adults as it is for the kids to just play the game. So if you're looking for complex fight mechanics and anything like that, don't look for it here, you're not going to get it. But that being said, this game actually has around a 5 to 6 hour long co-op campaign that's pretty entertaining, including a multi-level final boss battle against the Joker and a giant Joker robot. There's a couple twists at the end that I don't want to spoil, but it's really neat. And it's not always just the platforming style of gameplay. Sometimes it is an on-rails shooter. They've actually added that to the game. Sometimes there's some unique free-fall gameplay. So there's a lot of different things that happen during the course of the story of the game. Outside of the story of the game, there's also a completely open-world Gotham City for you to explore, okay? And this open world Gotham City unlocks itself over the course of the story of the game. At some points you can do things and go to certain areas, but you can't go to others. But then as you unlock other characters like Superman and the other DC superheroes, you can use their abilities to open up other areas of Gotham, okay? Now, why would you want to do the open world gameplay? Well, for some multiple reasons. Number one, just exploring a Lego Gotham is really cool. And the graphics of this game, even though it's Lego and it's kind of a Lego cartoonish style, are really well done. There's lighting, there's detail, there's things added that you're like, oh, I recognize that from the Batman universe. Kind of similar to how when people were playing Batman Arkham City, they said, oh, I recognize that from, you know, the classic Batman stories. Well, you're going to do the same thing with this game. In fact, I would almost pitch this game as like the Batman Arkham City for younger audiences, okay? If you're afraid that your kids probably would not like the gruesome gameplay of Batman Arkham City, you think it's a little bit too adult-oriented, especially because of the language and such, this is a much less scary game, but it's still a lot of fun in that regard that it is an open world. So other things that you're going to want to do. Collectibles. There's an insane amount of collectibles in this game. Whether it's finding different characters to unlock, and let me tell you, the game has something like, I'm wondering if in the instruction booklet they actually give you the listing of exactly how many characters there are. I doubt that they do. But just when you see the screen, when you unlock your first additional character, and you take a look at it, you're like, holy shit, this game has like 50 to 70 characters that you can unlock. It's nuts. And we're talking from mainline, you know, DC Justice League heroes to villains. Later on you can unlock the Joker and Lex Luthor, to other things such as just certain henchmen and stuff like that. Classic Batman villains. You can unlock all these in the game by basically going around town, destroying things and collecting these collectible Legos that are used as the currency of the game, and using that to purchase these characters and things. You can also purchase vehicles. We actually, during the course of the game, unlocked several vehicles, including like the Batwing was in there. You had Robin's helicopter, Robin's motorcycle. Robin actually had a car for some reason. I didn't know Robin had a car, but he had like his own version of the Batmobile. I believe the Invisijet, which is Wonder Woman's vehicle, is in there. There's a lot of vehicles that are character specific that you can unlock by basically exploring the city. So there's a lot of cool things just to discover. There's, outside of the story of the game, there's also puzzles and things hidden throughout the city. And as you uncover these puzzles, you unlock golden blocks, which are like the things you're really aimed to do in this game. And there's 250 of them, and I believe that once you get them all, you can actually unlock additional content. Now, John and I didn't go into that much detail. We just pretty much wanted to go through the story mode of the game, but just doing that, we realized, holy shit, look at the scope of this game. This Gotham City is actually huge, and you can experience a lot of cool optional content just going through it. In addition to that, you know, having this open world that you can explore, and you're going around collecting these Legos so you can unlock more characters and more vehicles, there's also the fact that all the story mode gameplay can be replayed later on after you've played it once in what's called a free play mode, where you can use any characters you want. And there's actually, that you'll notice during the course of the campaign of the game, that there's things that you can't do. Like there'll be a plant on the wall with a picture of Poison Ivy, and you're like, well, I guess I can't do this right now. No, you can't. Later on in the game, once you find Poison Ivy and unlock her, you can go back in free play mode and replay these parts of the game to unlock more collectibles, more things that you can do to unlock even more content. So for what it is, Lego Batman 2 has a massive amount of replayability and content. So if you're like that style, you like going back to an open world, trying to solve puzzles, trying to find hidden stuff, trying to collect collectibles to unlock even more and more content, this game has massive replayability, okay? That being said, it's a Lego game, okay? It's a kiddie game, it really is. Even though the adults will enjoy, if you're a fan of DC and you're a fan of Batman, you'll enjoy this game as much as any kid playing it. You have to understand it's not adult themed. This isn't any kind of an amazing complex story that's going to grip you and you're like, wow, you know, this is groundbreaking writing. It's not going to feel like you're reading one of the classic Batman storylines. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, I think, will probably get turned off simply because it is Lego. And, you know, it's funny. It's silly. You know, you're going to punch enemies, they're going to explode, and you're going to joke about, wow, I thought Batman doesn't kill anyone. How did this Lego guy just explode and stuff like that? So the game definitely will find its audience with people who aren't looking for a super dark, serious game. I mean, it's rated E for everyone. You know what I mean? It's made of Legos. It's not that serious of a subject matter. But they really did put in the effort and the time and the production value. Like I said, having professional voice acting for the first time. Actually licensing the classic Danny Elfman and John Williams themes for these characters. That really does add polish and shine to the game. They could have just foregone that and just made it like another kiddie Lego game. They didn't do that. They actually put in additional effort to make a really solid game. Now, there is no online play. There's no real multiplayer outside of two-player co-op. Split screen, by the way, I forgot to mention that. It is two fully couch co-op, split screen. If you watch the playthrough that John Rambo and I did, it's really awesome that the split screen can happen on the fly. I do have to say, though, it is annoying a little bit at times. Sometimes you can get too far away, and the split screen isn't always down the center of the screen. Sometimes it actually splits it this way as well, depending on what you're doing. And because it does that, sometimes it can throw you off, and you can't tell where you are. Doesn't really matter, because the game isn't punishing. If you die, all you do is lose some of the collectible currency of the game, the Legos. And so you can easily just go back and get them again. It's not like you can lose, per se. So there's no real risk of that, and that's probably a positive for kids and for parents playing with their kids. It's a negative for anyone looking for any real challenge, and that's the one thing that I do have to say about the game. It's not very challenging. It's a game that you're going to get through and enjoy, but if you're the kind of person that you want difficult gameplay, challenging gameplay, and you feel really rewarded when you finally succeed, you're not going to get that with Lego Batman 2. It's not about that. It's about more of just having fun and playing through the game. So, being what it is, okay, it's definitely the best Lego game that's ever been made, okay? Just to give you some perspective, some of the other Lego games that I've played that I really thought were ass, probably on my grading scale of games would have gotten like a 2 or a 3. I'm not even shitting you. Like, Lego Indiana Jones is horrible. I hated it. Sometimes I didn't know where to go or what I was supposed to be fucking doing, and it didn't seem like there was a lot of effort put into it. This game has a lot of polish, a lot of shine, a lot of effort. The production values are high. They're really trying to make it so that adults and kids of these who are fans of this series would love this game. And the fact that there is massive replayability as long as you're okay with playing this Lego-style gameplay, massive amount of collectibles, massive amount of unlockables, you're going to love this game. The detriment is that, again, it's Lego. It's not a serious subject matter. Adults may find it a little bit shallow outside of just playing the 5 to 6 hour campaign. You're probably, if you're an adult, not going to want to run around repetitively trying to find collectibles and shit in the Lego Gotham City. That's more for some, maybe a younger audience. But that being said, the game is the best Lego game ever made so far, and in my opinion, a pretty fun game. So it actually surprised the hell out of me. Let's put it that way. A game that I was going to skip because previous Lego games had always really been kind of crappy. This one definitely dials it up a notch, and now if they make, which I'm fully expecting them to do, they're probably going to make Lego Justice League. I'm on that. I'm on top of that. I'm actually anticipating that. And I think John and I are actually looking forward to playing a game like that, okay? So all factors considered, the fact that it has a really interesting campaign, voice acting for the first time, great licensed music, open world gameplay, lots of replayability. The only real negatives that I can say are, number one, like I said, it's Lego. And some people might say, oh, it's not serious enough of a subject matter for us. But number two is the map system. There's no real overworld map or anything. There is an overworld map, let me take that back. But the mini-map is what I meant to say. Isn't clear. The mini-map is actually just like a bar with symbols on it. And so it can be confusing. What the hell is this symbol? What's that symbol? And when you're in an open world, yes, you can set objectives, and similar like Grand Theft Auto, on your screen, it'll show you where you're supposed to be turning to get to where you want to get by following like these invisible phantom Lego blocks that are kind of translucent. But it's still confusing. A lot of the times you can't tell where you are because there's no real mini-map that you can focus to on your screen. You're just looking at this bar with symbols. And sometimes the translucent Legos mix in with other Lego pieces that are on the screen, and you can't even tell which is which, and you'll miss a turn. You're like, fuck, now I gotta turn around and go back, try to find the trail again, which could be really annoying. So the biggest detriment to the game is the map system, in my opinion. I think, if anything, if they make another one of these, that's what they really have to improve. So, really fun gameplay, a fun campaign, high production values, replayability with a couple minor things, but the fact that it is Lego as well, I'm going to give Lego Batman 2 a 7.5. I think it's better than the average Lego game. It's probably it is the best Lego game ever made so far. Is it a AAA title that's a must-buy that you need to rush out to play? No, but it's still a really good game, and definitely this is a buy, because if you're going to play the game, you're going to want to get hooked and addicted and get all the Legos and unlock all the content, so it's definitely a buy for me. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Alright, so that's it for this episode of the Hateful Truth video game review series. I hope that, once again, as always, my review has given you some information about the game that maybe you weren't aware of. Hopefully that the mainstream media didn't cover, and now gives you an opinion of whether or not you actually are interested in this game or not. And I will see you next time for the Hateful Truth. Thanks a lot.